everyone. Thank you so much for coming here today. I truly appreciate the effort it took to take a full day away from home and work. My name is Kate Beck, and I'm the Washington State chapter leader for Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. I personally woke up slowly to our gun violence epidemic. For me, it was like drops in a bucket. First, my uncle killed himself with a shotgun to the throat. Years later, I spent a day in fear as my dear friend was working at the Jewish Federation. After that, I heard about 4 police officers that were killed while sipping coffee in a diner. Later, an Arizona congresswoman I had never heard of was shot in a grocery store parking lot? How can this be? The events seemed to start happening closer together. There was a terrible shooting in Seattle at Cafe Racer, and our au pair hangs out there with his friends. A 2-year-old girl is shot by a sibling. The Wisconsin Sikh shooting happens. A movie theater in Colorado? They were just sitting there watching a movie? A local shoreline girl dies by a drive-by shooting. But we live in a quiet suburb. How can this be happening? And then on that cold December day, just before Christmas, Sandy Hook happens, and my bucket officially overflowed. Suddenly, I realized it could have been my 6-year-old son. And I was angry. I was full of grief, and I swore to do something, anything, to make these tragedies stop. The more I learned about our laws, the more my outrage grew. You can buy a gun off the internet without any paperwork. A depressed 16-year-old can buy a gun in a parking lot from a stranger. You can carry a loaded gun in our Capitol building, but you can't carry a sign. You have to show ID to buy Sudafed, but not ammunition. How can this be? I grew up with guns all around me. As kids, we would shoot soda cans in the backyard. I lived in Montana, and I was really grateful for those hunters who kept the deers off the highways. I don't have a problem with responsible citizens owning responsible guns. I do have a problem when there are not thorough checks and balances in place. Let me be clear. I am not here to take your gun away. We are here to ask our legislators for common sense gun laws. Common sense gun laws that will protect responsible gun owners and members of society. Criminal background checks just make sense. And most responsible gun owners agree. 5 minutes or less to pass a background check is not an infringement of anyone's right. It is a simple and effective way to promote public safety. Even my 2-year-old knows how to work the system. She knows exactly which parent to ask for extra movies or cookies, and she always goes to that particular parent first. It's just common sense that criminals and the dangerously mentally ill will work the easiest system too. If 40% of gun sales happen without a background check, where do you think the bad guys are going to go first? It's just as important to be consistent with our kids as it is everyone in our society. All gun purchases... We need a consistent law. All gun purchases require a background check. Since 1993 and the passing of the Brady Bill, over 2 million individuals have been blocked because of failed background checks. 92% of background checks are returned instantly. We have more licensed gun dealers in Washington State than we have Starbucks stores. 98% of Washingtonians live within 10 miles of a federally licensed firearms dealer. 79% of Washingtonians support universal background checks. Yeah. Woo! And every 14 hours, someone is killed with a gun in our state. We know background checks work. Imagine how many lives will be saved if we expand them to include all gun sales. Moms Demand Action was formed just 1 year ago in the wake of the Newtown shootings. We are a nonpartisan grassroots organization of mothers who are demanding new and stronger solution to our lax gun laws and loopholes that jeopardize the safety of our children and our families. We have quickly organized into a force of more than 130 members and chapters in every single state. Today, we must commit that we will not stop until we have done everything we can do to prevent preventable gun violence and the unfortunate epidemic that is our current times. Together, we say, no more silence. Together, we raise up our voices and we say, wake up Washington, wake up America, a safer day is possible. Wake up and be heard. Please visit momsdemandaction.org and find out how you can make a difference. And now we're going to hear from Zoe Moore, who lost her daughter to gun violence.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me be here. My name is Zoe Moore. I'm here to support the background check. It's hard for me to talk about myself without talking about my daughter's story. Dana is my daughter. She was a writer. She worked on films, and the last film that she worked on was, if you're familiar with it, was Booth Almighty with Jim Carrey. You might have heard of it. I want to share a little bit about who Dana was. She was very special to me. I could tell you a lot about her, but it's just not enough time. But I will share one story with you. When she was 8 years old, Dana taught herself to speak Arabic. We were out one day, and I heard her speaking to this man, and that I heard her speaking into a different language, and I asked her, what did she say to this man, and she said that it was Arabic. And I asked her, what did she say, and she asked him his name and how he was doing, and asked him his name. I was shocked. I was really shocked. These are the things I remember about my baby. But as time went on, Dana had an illness. It got worse. In January, well, Dana had mental illness, but in January, it got worse. And in January 2010, my daughter killed herself. She was 27 years old. It's hard for me, excuse me. I just want to take a moment to realize and not be silent anymore. But I want you to understand and realize that gun violence can happen to anyone and anywhere. More than 30 people die in the country every day from gun violence. My daughter is one of them. I just thank you for being here and staying with me to promise to no longer be silenced as to their own legislative and support initiative. Initiative 594. I am here for my daughter and for our children everywhere. When I heard about the Sandy Cook Elementary, my wound was already there. But when I heard about that, and those mothers and those families that go into their children's bedroom and see that they're not laying in their bed, it got bigger and it got worse for me. And I thought I was going to lose my mind. But when I found the mothers, they found me. So I have somewhere to share this. Oh, I just thank God for you guys. Thank you for letting me share. Thank you.
We're finding that as mothers find their voices, we find community and camaraderie, and we find power, and we find healing. I would like to introduce Representative Lori Jenkins, who heads the Judiciary Committee now.
I just have to start off and say moms, well, if moms don't rule, they should. I'm here today as a mom, as a wife, as a state representative, as an attorney, as somebody who works in the public health arena. And in every single one of those roles that I hold, the issue of gun violence is so clear and omnipresent. And it's so clear that we need to do things to deal with it. In the United States, 8 kids a day, 8 of our kids a day die as a result of gun violence. That's just not okay. It doesn't have to be this way, and there are things that we can do about it. Now, the way I really think about this in kind of a different way than other people do frequently. I think about it in terms of public health. And, you know, for most of the last century, motor vehicle accidents were the thing that caused the most accidental deaths for adults and kids in this nation. What we did is we didn't say we're going to ban all cars and vehicles because of that. We did smart, sensible things from a whole bunch of different angles to make sure that people didn't lose their lives as a result of motor vehicle accidents. So we designed cars better. We made shatterproof windows. We made collapsible steering wheels. We made the bodies of cars stronger. We created policies. We decided that maybe we should actually have speed limits. We said that driving while drinking was not okay. We also then more recently said texting and talking on your cell phone isn't okay. So we did things like that. We did very sensible, reasonable things that the vast majority of Americans take for granted right now. Seat belts, all kinds of stuff like that. We also educated. We decided that maybe rather than just letting a kid of any age get into a car and start driving, we would actually provide driver education. So we did things as it related to policy, as it related to design, and as it related to education. And we made our streets safer, and so many fewer people are dying as a result of it. We need to use that model as it relates to gun violence and deaths by gun. That's why I supported the universal background check bill this year. That's why we'll hear, the Judiciary Committee this year will also hear the initiative and consider it. I don't know if we'll be able to move it through the legislature, but we'll at least hear testimony about it. Because we have got to do things. We've got to do things that are sensible because our kids are worth it. That's why I'm here today.
Thank you so much, Representative Jenkins. I'd like to also introduce Tana Sen, who represents Mercer Island, which we have a huge contingency of moms on Mercer Island. And she represents the 41st District, which isn't only Mercer Island, but we have a lot of Mercer.
Again, I'm Representative Tana Sen, and I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you, moms and grandmas, dads and grandpas, for being here today. And I just want to thank Kate and Jocelyn for putting all the effort in to get today going. And to Linda Parrish, Eileen Benhoff, and Cornelia Swanson, Power Moms from the 41st. Your leadership is much appreciated. And Zoe, I want to thank you for your courage in sharing your story, your heartbreak, and your love for your daughter. As moms, we have so much on our plates. Juggling kids and work, aging parents. Is the car running okay? Are our kids getting healthy food? And most importantly, are they safe? The news of more and more gun violence each day is like a steady drumbeat. Or as Kate put it, a constant dripping. At first, relatively minor, but ultimately, it's too much to handle. Thank you. For me, my bucket was not filled just by a drip drip, but rather by a tsunami. I was on the board of the Jewish Federation of Greater Seattle in 2006 when my close friend Pam was shot and killed. But she wasn't alone. 5 other women, charity workers, daughters, mothers-to-be, were also shot. I and so many others were changed forever that day. The shooter had serious mental illness and multiple guns, a deadly combination that we as a society need to address. It wasn't the first, and sadly, it wasn't the last. Newtown. Each and every one of those children killed that day, and ones killed every day across our country, they're our children. And we are standing up together and saying no more. This is not just an exercise in the initiative process. This is personal. We are calling for background checks for all gun purchases now. In Judaism, there's a saying that to save a life is to save an entire world. When I became a mom, that saying took on even more meaning. Each and every one of us would protect our children and any other person's children with every fiber of our bodies and souls, if necessary. And that's why we're here today. When we pass background checks, that's right, and it saves one child, we will have saved an entire world. I know we will be at this until the job is done, because that's just what moms do.
I really do thank you all for taking a day out of your life to come here. We have awoken. Moms are here today. We're going to get lobby training. We're going to learn how to Twitter and tweet and Facebook and write our congressmen and our congresswomen. And before this, many of us had barely voted. We thought we were doing our civic duty by voting, and we've become engaged, and we're going to only become more engaged. Every tragedy that happens, we get 10 or 20 new members. We have over 1,200 members in the Washington state, and it's growing on a daily basis. We are here, and we are a force to be reckoned with, and we're not going away. And we just want common sense gun laws.